not sure that Speaker Gingrich would hit the ground running any better than I. I don't think he'd hit the ground running as well as I. I'll tell you some reasons why. First of all, we have different ideas on some things. For instance, one of the greatest ideas that required extraordinary courage on the part of our Republican friends in Washington was to vote for something known as the Ryan Plan. All Ryan, right? Jeb got up here. Yeah, go ahead.
The Ryan Plan is entitlement reform. We have $15 trillion in national debt and a $1.5 trillion budget. And as somebody who has served in Washington and knows how important a budget vote is, Charlie Bass and Frank Ginta absolutely made the right vote. And for Newt Gingrich, for whatever reason, to undermine entitlement reform in this country is another reason why this man should be president.
Speaker Gingrich said that the Ryan Plan, which was an entitlement reform plan, was right-wing social engineering. I was astonished. I said it was a courageous step that I supported. It's not identical to my own plan. Mine builds on what he did, and I had a little more choice than he had in his. But he took an enormously positive step, and almost every Republican congressman, I think 3 or 4 exceptions, voted in favor of his plan. And then his reaction on national TV, oh, it's right-wing social engineering. I have to tell you, Speaker Gingrich was exactly wrong on that. And as someone said, he might hit the ground running, but not in the same direction I'm going to go. I'm somebody who sees government as playing the role of encouraging our private sector to create jobs, because I spent my life in the private sector. Speaker Gingrich has spent the last 30 years in Washington. If you think that a background in Washington and working to connect various people to Washington leaders and being in government affairs is what we need in Washington, why, he's the guy. If you think someone who's been in the private sector for 25 years and then run an Olympics and then had the experience of taking business acumen and applying it in government, like I did in Massachusetts, balancing the budget all 4 years, working with Democrats to do so, getting the job done, putting in place a $2 billion rainy day fund, making sure we kept our schools #1 in the nation. You've heard that before. Those things we did in my state, I've learned how to do that. I'm going to do it in Washington. And I don't believe there's anyone else on that Republican debate stage who's had an experience like that. Being a leader is easy to talk about. But then you have to look at what they actually did.